Good afternoon everybody from Ben Mien Don Moi bus station in Ho Chi Minh City, or as the majority of locals call it, Saigon, in Vietnam. And today we are taking the overnight sleeper bus from here all the way up to Danang on the coast. A journey time of approximately 19 hours. I say approximately, I mean, it's anybody's guess when it's going to get in. It could be 3 or 4 hours early or late, and the weather is not great out there. It's been pouring down for most of the day, but hopefully we're going to leave on time. Got the tickets, well, that's sorted, so wish us luck. We may need it. I'll see you when we get on the bus. Yeah, the bus terminal here is quite a sizable building. We arrived in a grab taxi, but you can get here using the Ho Chi Minh Metro and getting off at Nha Ga Ben Say Soi Tin station just across the way here. Now, as I said, the weather was a bit overcast outside, but it was boiling hot inside. There's a large departures board here, and the terminal has an array of bus company ticketing booths dotted about inside, along with various refreshment counters where you can buy supplies for the journey. Now, I'd booked our tickets using the 12Go Asia website, and we were travelling with Futa Bus Lines, who operated from this large orange counter on the left here. I handed over my confirmation details and received the appropriate tickets, after which it was just a case of waiting until our bus arrived and heading out of the terminal towards the relevant stand. That bus there? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. The tickets were checked by a security guard at this point. Then after that, a couple of representatives from the bus company showed up. They checked our destination, tagged bags and placed them in the hold.
Danang?
Danang, yeah.
Hội An?
Danang.
Danang, okay. Give me your ticket.
Oh, thank you very much. Shoes off. Before boarding the bus, you must take your shoes off and put them in a bag provided by the bus company. I think this is absolutely fair enough, and it keeps the bus pretty clean inside. If you want to get off when the bus stops, well, you just put on a pair of flip-flops, also provided by the company, from a bucket placed outside the door. Now, inside, these seats are laid out longitudinally in a 2-tier 1-1-1 configuration. There's basically 2 window rows and a middle row. It's a total of 33 seats, and I was in window seat number A06. My son, who was travelling with me, was in the middle seat A07, just across the way here. Right guys, so yeah, on board the sleeper bus to Danang. Fortunately, the driver switched on the aircon with about 5 minutes to go to departure. The window here, they've got, half the bus has got these kind of wraps on them, so that's not ideal, is it, for filming? I'll see if I can get some better shots on the way. Not that the scenery is that great at the moment. It's pouring down with rain again. But oh well, I tell you what, it's going to be an experience, isn't it? So see how we go, and see if we can get any sleep. I'll let you know a little bit further into the journey. We left on time at 16:30, and don't worry about the views, I would find a solution to the window issue a little bit later on. When I settled back for the journey, then an announcement was made, in Vietnamese only, so I had no idea what it was on about, but yeah, a mile or so down the road, we came to a halt again. Right, well, we left the bus station on time, and then 5 minutes down the road we kind of stopped somewhere. From the smell of fuel, I'm kind of assuming it's some kind of filling station, but then we don't seem to be aligning ourselves with the pumps, unless it's I have no idea what's going on, to be honest. But, yeah, how long we're here for. Yeah, no one seemed to get on either, so I've really no idea what was happening, but we very soon pulled out onto the highway again, and whilst it was still light and it was difficult to see clearly out of the window, I thought it might be a good idea to have a better look at our seat/bed for the night. We have double aircon vents here, which worked really well, a sign instead of a TV telling you not to put your feet on the panelling, and USB A and C sockets. Next to that, there was a button that switched on the individual cabin light above your head. Don't need that yet, obviously. And underneath the sockets was a bottle holder, and I brought some with me, but the bus company also provide their own bottled water for you to consume. There's a storage area here for your convenience, and underneath that, legroom, which was a little bit tight, and especially as I had my other bag with me. But yeah, the cabins, they could probably do with a couple of dedicated hooks to hang stuff from. There are curtains in both the aisle side and window side, and they afford some privacy during the trip. Now the seat itself, well, it's quite narrow, and this is about as far back as it goes. A blanket is provided by the bus company, and there is a headrest here you can remove if need be. Now looking across the aisle here gives you a better idea of the maximum recline angle of the seats. If you can sleep like this, you'll be absolutely fine. Now talking about the aisles, they are a bit tight, aren't they? But I think that's fine because I'd rather have the width of the seats maximised. All in all, it was a clean and modern interior, not quite as shown when booking, but pretty good nevertheless. The weather was brightening up outside, but the wrap on the window was completely spoiling the views. So, as if by magic, I made it disappear, i.e. I moved to another seat. Yeah, the bus at this point was at least half empty, so I was able to shuffle down the aisle a bit to the seat behind. The bus driver and his colleague, who tended to shout at the passengers a lot, didn't seem to mind this, and obviously it was much better for me from a filming point of view. Now, I've no idea where we were at this point, other than we were heading east towards our first major stop at Van Thier. I think we used National Route 1 QL01 for long periods, though the CT01 highway also runs fairly close by, and both routes stick fairly near to the coast. And that would be a distance of approximately 950 kilometres, just under 600 miles. One thing for certain though, it was extremely busy, and I was told that in Ho Chi Minh alone there are over 5 million scooters. I mean, some sources on the internet put that closer to 8 million, and I'd spent the last 6 nights there. Yeah, I can certainly say that sounds feasible to me. And whilst the views themselves weren't anything special at this point, and I was quite happy watching the comings and goings outside, this is everyday life, isn't it? And it's fascinating to me. Everybody's going somewhere, and everybody has a reason for doing it. And to get to where they're going, most drivers will use any route possible if it's quicker and more efficient to do so. I mean, don't worry about riding on the pavement, for example, and that's just part of the road. And most people seem to express their intentions by sounding their horn as much as possible, which was in turn reciprocated by our bus driver. That's just how the roads work over here. I mean, I only saw one crash during my stay, and that was when a car ran into a scooter in Danang. It was only a minor bump. The scooter driver and the passenger just picked themselves up off the road, dusted themselves down, got back on their bike and rode off. We passed many temples along the way. This one, I think, roughly translated into the Martyrs Temple. Note the dragon topiary here, which reminded me a bit of the Dragon Bridge in Danang. And then it's the Buddhist temple Long An Pagoda, just before we reach the Mien Dong Innovative Technology University. As you can see, we were starting to lose the light by this stage of the journey. It felt like the traffic was thinning out a little bit, well, by Vietnamese standards anyway, but there was always a gaggle of scooters huddled together at every junction. The quality of the roads just wasn't great really, and as we bounced along to the sound of the horn every few seconds, I did wonder whether all these factors would hamper any chance I would have of getting any sleep at all, and it could be a very long night ahead. And it was almost dark as we turned onto the CT01 highway just south of Long Cain. Now after about 2.5 hours we pulled off into a fairly grim looking service station, I guess you could call it. It was a 35-minute food and toilet stop really, and we were told to get off rather than given the option. So we made our way inside, utilising probably the worst public toilets I have ever seen, and basically just hung around waiting to reboard the bus again. Bloody hell. Right guys, we've been on the road 2.5 hours, obviously it's got dark now, and Oh, I tell you what, I will never ever complain about British service stations ever again. There's some random thing on the side of the road. I've got no idea where they are. The toilets, well, they leave a lot to be desired. There's some people queuing up for some food or something, some sort. Fortunately, I've got some food with me. Hope it will last. I left my camera on the bus, so I'm having to use my phone, unfortunately. But yeah, initial thoughts. Well, I could have been there if I'd have taken a flight. But yeah, it's an experience, isn't it? That's no more than that. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And actually, just one other thing. There's not that many people on the bus. All the announcements are in Vietnamese. There's don't really know what's going on. But anyway, we'll be back on the bus in a bit and for another few hours, I suppose. Yeah, so back on board. Obviously, there's not much to show you because it's completely dark at this point. And at 20:45, we stopped at Phan Thier, where lots of people got on, and the bus was pretty much full. I reclined my seat and read for a while before turning my light off and trying to hopefully get some sleep. Good morning, guys, from the sleeper bus. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the AM, and I reckon we're about 2 or 3 hours away from Danang at the most, which is a lot earlier than I was expecting us to arrive. Yeah, got to admit, I'm just feeling it a bit now, and just the roads just terrible. Rough, and you can see I'm back in my compartment, but yeah, it's difficult to see out of this window again because of the wrap outside, but it's just like everything looks the same. You feel every bump. It's difficult to sleep, so yeah, boy oh boy. Something I want to be repeating anytime soon, to be honest. I think I've had a little bit of sleep here and there. It's not on and off really. I've been certainly looking forward to a proper bed. But yeah, we'll try and get a few more shots on the way. And like I said, it's the scenery is basically the same as it was yesterday, early evening, to be honest. Yeah. We'll see how we go, but yeah, hopefully not too long to go now. Yes, when I watch this back now, I definitely sounded tired, didn't I? We were about an hour and a half away from Da Nang now, if that, and this meant that we were going to arrive at our destination well ahead of schedule. The bus was fairly empty again, so a lot of the passengers that had boarded at Phan Thier must have got off again at some point in the middle of the night, and no idea where though, and I don't remember it either, so yeah, I must have got some sleep at some point, I'm assuming. Now the driver, he was back on his horn every few seconds as we rolled on through the countryside. I once again relocated to the bunk behind where I could get some decent shots of the surrounding area, and it was looking like a really lovely day. Definitely a bit less built up outside, the scenery consisting of fields and waterways interspersed with retail units. It was just like I'd seen the evening before, and in the distance I could see mountains and what I imagined would probably be the remotest part of the country, close to and probably beyond the border with Cambodia. Now back to the bus, just a reminder in case you hadn't already guessed, there is no toilet on board. You've basically got 33 individual bunks and the driver's cab with 2 staff members, a driver and a relief presumably. Now like I said before, the 12 Go Asia website is really good for looking at the different transport options you do have available on this route. There are literally hundreds of services. You may find that some bus companies do offer onboard toilet facilities, but there again, it might just not be a thing over here, so in that respect, don't get your hopes up. At least there were plenty of stops, and I did actually see one of our male passengers request an impromptu toilet stop on the side of the road, which was absolutely fine. A Wi-Fi, well, that was pretty good. I was able to watch YouTube videos absolutely no problem at all, and all other social media sites loaded up quite quickly. And the price I paid, well, again I used the 12 Go Asia website for this, and the total cost was £20 and 17 pence. Well, that sounds like a bit of a bargain, doesn't it? But if you're travelling light, you can find plenty of flights between Ho Chi Minh and Da Nang for about £20, a Vietjet for example, and it takes about 1 hour and 20 minutes flight time. The train is the other option, but that looked a little bit more expensive and had a similar journey times. I wouldn't take the bus again, I'd probably fly, but this was all about the experience, a bucket list item if you like. I did have second thoughts at one point, but my son was travelling with me and he really wanted to do it, so yeah, I'm blaming him. It's a lot easier when you're 20 something, isn't it? Anyway, we were crossing the mighty To Bon River now, just south of Da Nang, and after that it was only about 45 minutes before we were arriving into Da Nang Central Bus Station. I grabbed my bag and I made my way past the cheery bus driver to be greeted by the Grab scooter riders offering us a lift to the hotel. Unsure as to how we were going to get our trolley cases onto the mopeds, we opted for a normal taxi, and half an hour later we made it to the hotel. The rest of the day was a bit of a haze to be honest, but yeah, after a suitable recovery period, I was able to recount my experiences and just spent a couple of minutes summarising the journey. Well, hello there guys from my hotel room in Kuala Lumpur. It's about 10 days since the Vietnam sleeper bus experience, and it's an experience that I will never do again. But, sometimes you have to do these trips to find out what you like, and it was kind of a bucket list thing for me, really, and I'm glad I did it in that respect. But yeah, I mean, the bus itself wasn't too bad, but I mean, the roads it has to travel on, they are just absolutely terrible. The driving, well, it's standard. Is there a standard? You have to see it to believe it, really. And then, so the coach driver, the bus driver, is constantly on his horn, and so of course you're trying to get some sleep, and all you've got is like the noise of the horn and the bouncing up and down on the road. Just absolutely terrible. Could do with the toilet on there as well. I mean, the bus stopped every 2 hours or so, which is fine if you need a toilet break. Some of the toilet stops left a little bit to be desired as well. But do you know what? I'd like to see this kind of bus on British or let's say European roads. A lot better roads. The traffic is a bit calmer, and so I don't know. Maybe there's all kinds of regulations that they would have to adhere to, and but yeah, you don't really see them, and I wonder why that is. And the question I've got for you guys: if let's say a bus similar to the one I've been on was operating between London and Scotland, for example, and they were selling seats for like 50 quid, so kind of not far off the sort of money you'd pay to go on the Caledonian Sleeper in the seats. Would you do the coach in those kind of seats? And let me know in the comments below. I don't know. I mean, it isn't something that we see. I'm going back to the kind of Megabus Gold days. I think they were the last true sleeper coaches, sleeper buses, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, and price-wise, well, it's not bad price-wise, but for a little bit extra money, if that, you can fly between Ho Chi Minh and Da Nang, and of course you save yourself hours and hours and hours of time, and yeah, probably a whole day really, and you wake up refreshed in the morning. And as per usual with me, I woke up from what little sleep I did have, absolutely knackered. But like I said before, it was an experience, wasn't it? Would you try it? Have you done it yourselves? Let me know in the comments below. But thank you very much for watching, guys. A little bit different for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you on another adventure soon, I'm sure. And until the next one, as always, cheers for now.